Welcome, Traveler. Did anyone say maximum thrusting? That is what the build does, and it cannot be stopped because you're using the Ironjar Aromatic to turn your skin into iron. Well, you kind of make yourself relatively slow, but a 40% damage negation and essentially super poise makes absolutely up for it. The Ash of War we're using is called Repeating Thrusts, and it's a triple stab that doesn't give you hyper armor. That's why we have to turn us into iron. And it's only usable by armaments capable of thrusting. The way it looks is like this, and it barely takes any mana away from you. And since it's 3 quick attacks, I thought about using a very heavy weapon, like the Great Katana, for example, since swinging it is relatively slow. But if you go for the triple stab, well, that happens super fast, and the range is insane. Problem is, it only has 139 blood buildup. And now you would say that means every third hit is a bleed because 300 is the threshold, but some bosses are resistant to bleeding, so it's not really every third hit. An interesting alternative presented itself, and that is the Blood Sword Lance from Commander Gaius, because that one is, well, a lance capable of thrusting, does very quick thrusts, and is relatively long. But the interesting part is that the blood loss buildup is 163. with a B tier strength scaling still. Now, as I mentioned it, this attack does not provide you with hyper armor, so either you're using it in a moment of opportunity, or you can get staggered out of it. Unless we're using a very interesting item, the Ironjar Aromatic. Use FP to temporarily turn body to steel, boosting poise, resistance, and damage negation at the expense of mobility and lightning resistance. And if you're using the Ironjar Aromatic, especially against aggressive bosses, for 45 seconds you're safe, and Mesma is essentially diving into you anyways. He cannot poise break you anymore, he cannot stance break you. You're essentially able to just stab away and max out those bleeds on top of each other. Because yes, the repeating thrusts can be chained. There's no cooldown to it. It's 1, 2, 3, and then you go again, 1, 2, 3, and so on. That's like the unlimited factor. And since it's worked with the Rotted Sword Insignia for greatly raising attack power with successive attacks, you're able to really boost this forward quite nicely, especially since, well, we're successive attacking the whole time. The downside is you can't sprint anymore. You can roll still, but no sprinting. That means against extremely aggressive bosses that push into you, it's perfect. Against bosses that tend to run away, you'll just do without and then just stab them into moments of opportunity. Alternative, you can use a summon like Black Knight Commander Andreas, who does actually have an aggro aura that keeps people away from you, and you just completely thrust them in their backside. You naughty little boy. Now let me show you the location of every single item piece, the stats we're using, and one example boss fight, as always, how it exactly works and goes down, how you buff yourself, and some best practices for the build. First, the sword lance, and then an alternative, what you can use until you have the sword lance. In order to get there, you get a ride from the Church District High Road over to the Church District, and then make your way upwards to the Storehouse back section Side of Grace. It's very easy to find because there's a ginormous elevator in the Church District that you can simply not miss. And then you're making your way up the ladder and end up at the Storehouse Loft Side of Grace. And this one takes you up with an elevator into the rafters above you. And here we're simply running alongside the path. Not much else you can do. Ignore Batman and his friends. The only one we're going to kill is the one in front of us. And if you already picked up the Oh Mother emote, you can make yourself way into the hidden region. Now you're gonna roll yourself simply down here and down there again, which brings you to the gate and another elevator that takes you downwards, and below here will be another elevator that then takes you down to Commander Gaius. You can literally not miss it anymore. Jumping over. Elevator number 2. Good luck with Commander Gaius. As an alternative, until you have it, would be the Great Katana, and that one is so easy to get in the first 2 minutes of the DLC. This is where you start Graveside Plain, and then we'll begin from the 3 Pass Cross. And you just need to ride down to the north. There is a body of water with a ghost flame dragon in it, they're going to say, Pony, I can't beat a ghost flame dragon this early into the game. And you're right. You probably won't. That's not the point, though, because the Great Katana is just lying on the ground. Yeah. You don't actually have to fight the body. Like, you could see this already decaying there on the ground. It is this body of water. There is the Great Katana right next to it on a corpse. And you can just loot it. You don't have to fight Himothy. You can just get it like that. And the repeating thrust is one of the first items you can ever find in the game if you are there at night. We're going back to Limgrave, Agel Lake North. And then you're riding alongside the road, not to the soldiers and the castle. Nope, we're making our way to the bridge. And there's one of those night cavalries that has the repeating thrust for you. I have probably killed this one in my 30-40 playthroughs only one single time in the very first one, and then completely forget about this Ash of War existing. Get up to him, stab him a few times, and you get your repeating thrusts. Thank you very much. And in our offhand, we're having the Commander's Standard with the ability Rallying Standard that gives us 20% damage reduction and 20% bonus damage multiplicative. It's like Golden Vow, just better. And since we're running around with a heavy load anyways, because we're using the Ironjar Aromatic, I don't need to use a dagger. Together with Golden Vow, I might overload myself even more. For that, you need to kill O'Neill, and Commander O'Neill can be found right into the Ionian swamp in the middle heart of Ionia. He's here. Stab the good man a few times. Give him a good whack-in. And he's right there inside this dome of trees in the middle of the swamp. Easy peasy. Now we do need the Ironjar Aromatic for certain bosses so we can just thrust them heavily away. The cookbook can be found on the Altus Plateau next to the Leyendell City. And from the Outer Wall Battleground side of Grays, you're taking the lower road below the Capital Rampart. And then you're not going into the Hero Grave. No, there's another catacomb hidden up here. I mean, it's down here, right? Below the rampart, but it's still up the road. So away from the hero grave, then right upwards, and there's actually a catacomb here that I never know existed. Yep. Right? Like after 40 playthroughs, I never knew you exist. It's called the Ariza Side Tomb. Now we're making our way down, and you're essentially looking for a room with many benches, because there is a teleporter inside there. Ignore the poor jars. Alongside the road to the left. Into the teleporter. Walk downstairs. Past the statue. Into the left side room. Ignore everything that tries to stop you. Notice an item right in front of you you would like to have. Turn to the right. There's a room with many benches, as we mentioned, and we're going to be taking the next teleporter straight away. Maybe kill the imps first before they kill you. Notice 2 ginormous jars trying to hug you. Ignore, pick up the Perfumer's Cookbook number 3. Now, this is, by the way, a good farm location for the living jar shards that you kind of need to craft these perfume bottles. Keep in mind, it's either the Ironjar Aromatic or using a summon. Alternative, dodge and find your windows of opportunity. And for the Black Knight Commander Andreas summon, I have the location later for you. First, let's talk about our talismans. The Dragoncrest Greatshield, which gives us super damage negation. That one can be found at Malenias Tree. We're starting at the drainage channel side of Grace, making our way downwards onto the roots. And it's quite easy to miss, as you might just jump a little bit too far down beforehand. Going down on this tree, over on the other one, but now instead of straight up jumping onto the roof, we're going up to the next root. And then there's that hole in the roof. If you drop through this onto the rafters, there will be here a chest that will contain said talisman. Now we exterminate the younglings. After you pick that up, you want the Shard of Alexander, which boosts the attack power of our skills. For this, we're heading to the main game, Limgrave, and then the War Master's Shack right next to the Stormhill one, and you're riding to this position. Going to the right, just down the road, and in that position is the Ironjar Alexander. Now, you have two options. You could do his very long and tedious quest line if you haven't done so yet, or you could take a slight inferior version for 5% less damage multiplier and just whoop his ass. Because he'll ask you to free him out of his hole. And you can do that with one heavy attack. And afterwards, you just murder him. And you get the Jar Shard. The Rotted Sword Insignia is amazing because it raises the attack power for successive attacks, but has a long quest line behind it. For this, we have a link in the description below. Alternative, the Winged Sword Insignia is an option that's slightly less powerful, but you can get it in 5 minutes. You start at Lernier of the Lake Shore, side of Grace. Yes, here at the bottom of the lake. And then you're just riding towards the gigantic Stormvale Castle, because below it is a cave. Now again, the Millicent questline will give you a 11, 13, and 17% boost. The Winged Rotten Sword Insignia being the highest, the Processes being 2% lower than that, and the Winged Sword Insignia again being a few percent lower than the Processes. But as I said, if you just ride into this cave, activate the Side of Grace of the Stillwater Cave, and then you're just making your way alongside the rocks here without falling down, because if you fall down, you're straight up going to be poisoned, and who wants to be poisoned? And at the end is a very simple opponent waiting for you. The Millicent questline is a bit more convoluted and is going to take you some time. Now I did fall down because I'm a bot, as it seems. Make your way past the gigantic flower, go through the darkness to make your way to the next poison area. Walk alongside the floorboard so you're not getting poisoned. Don't get shot by these dudes in the back. And as you're jumping down to the left, you're already at the Clean Rot Knight. Yep, that dude is just hiding and waiting for you, but he has the Winged Sword Insignia. Endure once again. And send him to his maker. Last but not least, the Lord's Plus Exultation, which raises the attack power with blood loss occurring in the vicinity, and past Ponyov is going to tell you where that is. Step 1 is teleporting to the Avenue balcony in Leyendell City. And then you make your way down the stairs, jump over the railing, and then get into the well. And no worries, this part here is a little bit sped up. The complicated roundabout part in the maze I'll do in normal style talk along. After getting that Side of Grace, go over the floor, roll down the ladder, and then make sure that on that wooden board, you right hit the middle to land on the pipe below. Be careful with the stupid lobsters. They'll try to eat your booty. Roll your way past them and get the next Side of Grace. Now, here's this little hint. There's 2 items behind you at the lobsters that you want to get after getting the Side of Grace. There's a Somber Smithing Stone 7, which is always nice to have. And yes, one of the earlier times you can actually get a Somber Smithing Stone 7. And there's the Shackle for Moog. The same shackle exists for him as did for Margaret the Fell Omen to make the fight easier for you. Navigating the next part can be stupid, so we're doing a normal pacing style video. You head downwards and this door is closed. Go left. Jump over the altar and get up the stairs. This is where we will return to. But in order to return here, there is a lot of roundabouts to take. After going up the ladder, you see the room, turn right. There's fire happening. You don't really care for the fire. You're gonna let it blast down. And we're not going to the statue. We're going past the statue. On the right. You know you're right when you see the big statue. Then head to the right again, and there's one big dude. You know you're also correct. Jump straight down. Turn to the left. Straight. Turn to the right. Stairs up. You want to go the stairs up. See a room in front of you that's empty. Turn around. Another one of these. This looks eerily similar to where we have been before, right? This time, you go to the connector and head to the statue and bonk it downwards. Bonk. Hit it again and get upwards. You see this altar room with the statue? You're correct. This is where you want to be. Turn to the right again. And if you do notice that these two imps are there, and the pit where you can fall into, you die if you fall in there. You're on the correct track. Jump down the ladder, and then make your way straight down. And this is exactly where everything started. Pull the lever, jump down, turn around, it goes up, and it goes straight. If we're going straight, you return back to where everything has started. Boom. Then you can rest at the side of grace. Now to the armor. We're wearing the armor of solitude because we're heavy loaded anyway, so we might get the one that gives us the maximum amount of physical damage reduction and makes us the sturdiest. That one is straight in the beginning of the DLC next to the gravesite site of playing with the Western Nameless Mausoleum. Then as pants, we're adding whatever we feel like that kind of fits. And no, we're not using the Rakshasa set because we're face tanking the bosses like crazy. And we can't really outlast that if we take even more damage. For the white mask, there's a link in the description below explaining the whole quest line. And in order to be able to now face tank with the equipment that we just mentioned, Malenias Great Rune is simply the perfect thing because attacks recover HP after damage is taken. The good old face tank can't be stopped super stabbing commences. You simply have to kill the goddess of rot and pick up her Great Rune, and then teleport all the way at the bottom to Limgrave to the isolated merchant's shack, and we're going for the Tower of Return. That one is quite hard to miss because you essentially straight away see it all the way from the shack right up to it and get to the top because there's a teleporter chest. And this teleporter chest straight up brings you to Leyendell, the burning ashen capital. Get on your horse, activate the Site of Grace, ignore the golem or kill him however you feel like it. There's an item to the right that you might want to take or not. And then there is the teleporter that brings you to Malenias Isolated Tower, which is situated right here in the middle of the Lake of Nothingness. Go upstairs, activate the Great Rune, done. Now you can regain HP with every hit. For the Wondrous Physic, we have the Blood-Sucking Crack tier and the Thorny Crack tier. The Blood-Sucking Crack tier can be found at the Castle Watering Hole, and here we start at the main Gate Plaza Site of Grace to get to that location. Make our way to the right after you killed the boss and unlocked the shortcut. Ignore the dudes, go upstairs, and this is essentially the region right before the main castle, where the Fire Knight is waiting for you. There's the Fire Knight. But you do turn to the right, and there is a Desperate Dave. He's lying on the ground trying to get your attention. We're making our way down the ladder, inside the waterfall hidey hole, and then down the next ladder into the coffin. And this will straight up take you to the Castle Watering Hole. Here you have a furnace golem that is deactivated in front of the ginormous gate in front of you, which means you're going to craft yourself a hefty furnace pot, throw it in his face, he gets activated, and then you jump attack his legs until he's dead. That one will enhance our attack but cost us 8 HP. Since we're soaking back HP with Malenias Great Rune, that's fine. The Thorny Crack here makes consecutive attacks grow stronger in Mixed Physique, and we are essentially just never stop attacking. And for this one, we're starting in the Mountaintop of Giants, liturgical town that leads you to Malenia, and you're riding all the way up in the mountains until you find this pass. Yes, you get to go up, not to the white tree, you got to go up. Because here is one of these withered Erdtrees, and then you're aiming for the cluster of roots on the left side, and to the left of that, we'll be finding our minor Erdtree avatar just waiting to get executed. Aggressive boss fight, we're going to be taking Ranella. Step 1, activating your Great Rune of Malenia. Then keep in mind that your flask only lasts for 45 seconds, so that's how quick you want to finish the fight. Which means I like to drink my Wondrous Physiques first, take my standard out, Sword lands back. Go in. Drink the Ironjar Aromatic while I'm walking forward. And then I'm essentially just starting the stabbing. And we're just spamming it away. That's it. That's as quick as you can take her down. Let's do another one with Mesmer. Standard out. Waving in. Flag back. Drink our Ironjar. Against Mesmer, it's a bit trickier because he jumps in the beginning. Then we drink the Wondrous Physic. He's going to jump, and we want to essentially be in his fire. So roll once, roll twice, and then stabbing begins. With one move, he can get you out, but that's already him drowned. Drink to be full. Roll this once. Be here right in the explosion. So you can essentially straight up start stabbing him and don't care about what his stupid snake does. And finish him. Right off the rib. And if you don't have your weapon already, the Great Katana will do this equivalent. For stats, we want everything around 50 to 55 vigor. Might and endurance should be at 25. Mine could probably go down all the way to 20, that you still have enough to summon the Black Knight Commander Andreas. So save yourself 5 points there. Strength up to 60 because of the B tier strength scaling. Dex 15, that's the lowest I can go with my class. 9 int. And you could push faith to 15 instead of 12. So the mind points into faith to actually get Flames Grant Me strength on top, because that multiplies with Commander Niall's standard for even more damage. Then Arcane as high as possible with the rest of your points, since you want that blood loss build-up to actually reach 163 or over 150, that every third stab is that respective bleed, or every second if the enemy doesn't have any bleed resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, do I have your attention and get you convinced on this? Or would you rather try out the Black Steel Twin Blade Slice and Dice? And if you're a sorcerer, there's the Thorns sorcery, which kind of like in 6 hits destroys Radahn. It's ridiculous. Enjoy all these builds. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic good day.